Hello, my name is Sky Green. I'm 18 years old and I live in Nottingham, England. When I first became Christian, I had my mum and dad in the picture from when I was very young. So I was very fortunate to have both parents in my life. And on the outside, inwards, it looked like a really good family to have. And I grew up with probably not to the eyes of the world, not with much riches or wealth. We were a wealthy family, but I'd say I was quite happy and fortunate. And at a young age, I feel like you see the world very positive. So when I was very little, it was very happy life, I remember. But then growing up, I really felt very fearful and timid. A lot of people, when you ask my mum and my dad when I was younger, I was a very timid person, a very timid girl. Everyone would describe me as very shy, didn't like to be centre of attention. And I was quite different to my brother and sister. They was quite lively compared to me. But so I think I was bullied a lot as a little girl, in nursery and reception aid probably. I was bullied quite a lot. And then when I got a bit older in primary school, I was bullied, not in school, but outside of school a lot. So that made me quite even more reserved, even more shy. So not very outgoing and just very fearful, even at a young age. I have weird fears that you wouldn't expect to have as a little kid. And that just wasn't natural for a kid. So I feel like it made me more mature in my age group, but not in a good way. Just fearful, not very outgoing, not very happy to do things that other people do, because I just had a different perspective on things, and not very innocent perspective on things as well. And there were certain experiences that I had that just you shouldn't go through as a little girl, and I think that made me more fearful. That brought more anxiety at a very young age. I think I was very anxious at a very young age, and people noticed that a lot. And you don't expect someone probably around 5, 6 to 10 to have that anxiety, but I definitely did. I felt that, a dread. But I think as younger it wasn't too bad, but when I got to the older age, it became even worse and even more anxious. People seem to know who they are more, and I was never like that. So I would just I would try and be with the most popular people. And I think that helped me to cope at the time, because it was if they accept me, if I'm in their group, or they say I'm in their group, then I've achieved something. I belong somewhere. But I think the deeper I got into that, the more I came away from myself, I felt it began to feel even worse. I was this isn't really helping, because I'll go home and I'd feel just this dread, it was exhausting to be a different person. But I saw them being that person. I'd be it's so normal for them. Why is it not normal for me? Why am I struggling to be this loud person? I'd love it when people laughed. If I said something, they laughed at me. I would love to make people laugh and be because then if they're laughing at me, it's they must like me then. So it was that affirmation that I sought a lot, even from primary school and then especially in secondary school. So I think that helped me to cope in a way where it was if people are laughing with me, if they've accepted me, and things and it's the most popular people in school. On the outside, you look at me and be wow, she's with some good friends and things like that. And I looked quite confident on the outside. But if someone one-to-one with me, they'd see I'd melt. If they took me out on my own, if I was in a class on my own, not with my friends, I'd just be a quiet girl, not say anything. And I think people noticed that, and that made me more insecure. So then when I was with these people, then it was okay, this is my safe place. Not a happy place, but my safe place. So I'd stay there, and then that would be my refuge in school a lot of the time. So I think that helped. That was my coping strategy at the time, but it wasn't really working. I pretend to be happy, but it's not working. I saw everyone else is genuinely happy, and then I'm just the odd one out. I'm just copying them, doing them, imitating them, doing the same things as them. But it wasn't working. And then obviously year 8, it was year 8, 9 age probably. And I was just I noticed depression. At the time, I wouldn't be able to describe it as depression, but it was just this deep, I'd wake up with this sick feeling every morning. And like, especially lockdown, you're waking up, there's no school to go to, there's no distraction. I'd be at home all the time. But I wouldn't, like we had some work set, I wouldn't do it because I just feel so bad. I couldn't like wake up early and do it. Like I couldn't even wake up and brush my teeth or have a shower. Like I would just stay in bed or just stay like sitting down somewhere or something. Like it was just this deep dread and sickness. Like I was actually going to throw up. And to the point where I wouldn't eat, like I would stop eating and things like that. And like I would just cry all of the time, like crying. Like I'm surprised I had that much water in me to cry. But it was just crying all the time. And I think my parents obviously noticed it because I was crying all the time. And they obviously noticed it more when I was not at school as much and things like that. So they saw it and they began, she's not just a shy girl, there's something wrong. She's not. Because when I was at school, I felt like I pretended to be quite happy and that, and people saw me as a nice person, a happy person. But my feelings didn't match that in any like slightest way. So when I was just crying all the time, and like this deep depression was just like all the time. Like it was when you're in that place, like the deep, like just like deep pit. Like you don't see your way out of it. It's like I'm just gonna have to learn how to deal with this because surely this is what people are doing, and there's no way out of it. Because it was like I'd have periods where I'd be like a bit better, like I'd be able to get ready or go out somewhere, do something, or go out play with friends or something at that age, but. Then it was like weeks on end where I'd miss, when I was at school, it'd be weeks that I'd miss from school because I remember there was one year, probably around year 8 as well, and that time in like August, that time when everyone was going back to school, and I think I missed about 3 weeks straight just because I couldn't wake up and go to school. And my mum would try like, oh, you're going to go to school today, you're going to go to school. And it'd be like, I would just be crying. I'm like, no, please don't go to school. Like, I just couldn't do it. I couldn't face them because I had that long break from school. So now going back, and I knew it was like this fake thing of like being with these friends. They weren't my comfort anymore. It was like a threat. So I was like, please don't take me to school, please. I'll just stay at home. I'll do the homework. Or I'll go tomorrow or something like that. And I'd be like, I just don't feel well. I don't, But then obviously I had to go back, and then I just felt even worse. Like, the day I did go back, my eyes were puffy, my face was red, and my friends was like, are you okay? And I'd be like, yeah, I'm fine. I just felt a bit unwell or something, I was crying or whatever. But they were just laughing about it. Like I couldn't open up to anyone. It was just like, because I thought it was only me as well. Like I didn't see other people going through the same things. Even if they were going through the same thing, I'd be like, they're just so much better than me, they're so much more confident or something. So then I'd just be like, shut off. And I noticed that it weren't really nightmares, like sleep paralysis, you can't move. I'd be in my room, everything was how it was left when I fell asleep. So it was like my eyes were awake, but I was sleeping. And then there was it was a dark image, basically. Like it didn't have like characteristics, it wasn't a human, but it was just darkness. And like the thing I can compare it to is like that famous image that everyone knows of, like the girl with long hair that's down her face and that 90, that terrifying from the horror film. And because I grew up seeing a lot of horror films, my parents liked horror films. Even me at that young age, I would watch them. So I kind of let that image in, but it would come in in this like dark spirit thing in my dreams. And I'd be screaming because my bedroom's next to my parents' room, so I'd be screaming, Mom, Mom, Mom. And like I'm putting all my effort, like, I feel like I'm sweating to put all the effort in to scream someone's name, but nothing will come out. It'd be like, to hear it, it'd be like, But it's like I'm putting all my effort. And whoever's had sleep paralysis, you know what it feels like. You can't move, you're frozen. And I have it like reoccurring, and it'll be the same thing. But whatever position I'm sleeping, so if I sleep on my side, I go into that dream or that encounter, and it'll be exactly the same. And say if my door was open, it'd be walking back through the door, and then coming into my room and coming around. It couldn't walk out of my wardrobe. It would just linger around, and it was like that. It was just this darkness, and it was so terrifying. I wake up, when I did wake up, it was like you jump out of it because you can move finally. You'd be like, oh my gosh, that was terrifying, and like you'd feel like you're in a cold sweat from it as well, and that terrified me. But at the same time, I talked to anyone about it. I just like shoved it aside and tried to get on with day-to-day life at the same time. So from that depression, it would just be so dark. Like I just get into a darker and darker pit. So I wasn't eating anymore, and there was one instance where I was crying, and you'd probably describe it as like a panic attack or a seizure. I was just in my bed one moment screaming, crying because you have that like groaning or that like pain. So you're like, screaming like you've been stabbed or something. Like I was screaming because no one was home at the time. And then it was at a blackout sort of thing, and I was on my bed one minute and then I'm on the floor, seizing up, I can't move my fists. Because when you panic and like you're breathless, trying to catch your breath when you're crying. And then I was just so scared, and I'd seize up. My brother was the only one home at the time. He was quite young. So he came. I couldn't even pick up my phone to call my mum, who had visited a friend. So I couldn't even call her. So he was crying at my phone, trying to call someone. And then it was that bad where the ambulance came, took me to hospital. And from there they saw I was quite skinny because I wasn't eating. Like I just skipped meals because of that sick feeling. You can't eat, and it's like, what's the point of eating? Because it's not going to make you feel bad. Normally you find joy, a nice dinner or something like that, but nothing like that sick feeling. It's like, it's just going to make me more sick. I don't want to throw up or something. So I wouldn't eat. So then I went to hospital. They tried to give me medication, sort of like steroids or something, to try and help me to feel better, because they couldn't diagnose it. They couldn't see what was going on. Just, it's a young girl, she's sad or something. They can't help. They're trying to help you with the pills. So I took those home, I took them, and that worsened it because I felt even less hungry or more. That sick feeling was even stronger, so I'd just not eat at all now. And then, so from skipping a few meals, I wouldn't eat. My mum would bring a plain chicken sandwich or something, and I'd just look at it, I'd be like, I could not even look at it, I can't eat it. Like, I can't. And she'd just be like, please eat it, because she sees that I'm not eating. But they don't know what to do now, so they're like hopeless. And with that, like, because it got so like deep into that depression, then suicide came into my mind. And it was like, I would never even, I used to look at, if you watch documentaries or something and you see someone's killed themselves or you hear of someone, I'd be like, that's like the craziest thing. How can you choose to take your own life? Like, when I was younger, I'd be like, that is such like, it must be in such a deep place to do that. Like, you're not even getting killed, you're killing yourself. It just didn't make sense to me. But then I got to this point, and when these thoughts would come, like these dark thoughts where my mind was running and running, like, you're not a good person, or, you're really not good at this, like, why aren't you like them or something? And then it would come where, oh, why don't you just kill yourself then, because you can't do it, like, you can't make yourself a better person, you can't change this, you can't even eat now. So then it's like, just kill yourself. And I remember, like, you get that thought and it's like, it's not a resolution, it's like this guilt comes, like, oh my, I used to think this and now I'm thinking of killing myself. And then it's just, these suicidal thoughts were all the time. And then I told my parents about it, and they was like, they didn't even know what to say. They was just like, oh my gosh, that she's having suicidal thoughts. There was a point where I was Googling ways or just looking up ways or seeing how people have done it before. And then my mum saw it on my history. She saw me Googling them. Then she was like, I think that's when it became more real for her, like, to see her daughter doing that. So it's like, it's not just that it's a thought and it's like, oh, it's a bad thought, just ignore it. It's like, I'm looking into it now. So that it came from just a thought to now I'm looking into it, researching it to see the best way or something. Like, that's how deep it got, the depression. Because it was like, there's no other solution at that point. So suicide, that was the last thing. So it was like, it became to that point, it was like, if it carries on, if I don't come out of this, then suicide, it's like, that's there. So it was always, day in, day out, that was on my mind. But at 13 as well, that's a crazy age to have such a dark thing like that, a part of your reality as well. My mum suffered depression because for as long as I can remember when I was a little girl, she took antidepressants and other medication. She received Jesus quite earlier to me. So she was introduced to some men from a live church, and she received Jesus. She went through this change in her heart. So she had this brokenness, but then she received something different. And just the way she encountered these men, and she knew that it was divine, like how it happened. So for her, that she just had a quick change. For someone suffering that long and deep, and I watched it day in, day out. So then to see her change, and she started listening to gospel music. I was like, I've never heard God. I thought it was singing hymns in a church or something. She started listening to his music, and I'd hear the words every day. So then, and at the time I was still very depressed, still going through my own situation, but she was going through this change, and the whole family saw it. And then when I was looking at it, and I was like, whatever she's received, like, and whoever she's received this from, like the people who've come into her life now, I just thought at first I was like, there's some random people, like maybe they'll be friends or we won't see them again. But she's received something, and that was Jesus. She received that salvation, and it's completely changed her. Like she had a new strength even that early on. So seeing that, that's when I started to take it more like serious. I'd be like, well, I don't have to do this. There's suicide. It's not the end resolution. It's not the end result. There's something out there for me. So seeing her go through that change, I was like, I need this change as well. And I knew that it would be in this church. It would be with these people who know Jesus. And it's because they've received it. So they've helped my mum. They've pointed my mum in this direction to receive it. So now it's like, I need that. Like, it's the only thing. Like, I've tried so many things, and nothing, it's ended me worse. Like, I'm in a deeper pit than when I first started off, and when I was first in secondary school struggling. So this is the only thing left for me to try. And there was one incident, I was in the bathroom, and like, it was so, because God for me, growing up, like Christianity was not in the picture at all. So God, like praying to a God, I would literally, sometimes if it was really bad, I would sit there and pray, because my nana passed away at quite a young age, when I was young. So I'd pray to my nana, I'd be like, if you're up there, like, can you help me? Like, I'd pray, I wouldn't even know to pray to God, I would pray to my nana. And then it came to a point where, and this was, but in the few months there, my mum was starting to have this change. So I was like, maybe I'll try just a prayer to God. I had no clue how to pray. I was just like, God, if you're real. It was like in the middle of the night, I was like, God, if you're real, if you pull me from this, because obviously I've tried everything. If you pull me from this, then I know it's work. If it works, then I know you're real. Because I never, but like, even saw the possibility of God being real. Like when my friends would tell me they're Christian, I'd be like, oh, but that doesn't make sense. Like, this happens in the world. How can there be a God in that world? And things like that. Like at that immature mind, I just weren't a possibility, because I didn't grow up with it. But then this prayer, it changed something. I was open, and it was a couple months after that where my mum really changed, and she was like going on these Bible studies in the evenings on her computer. And then I would hear these words, and she's listening to these gospel music, and she's singing to it, and it's like she's got this new joy. And I've never, she'd be fake happy sometimes if maybe if she had a drink, or if she, I don't know, was just in that, in an environment with family, friends or something. But for her to be on her own, and she's listening to this gospel music, because as a child, you see behind closed doors everything. You see how your mum, like, she's having a bad day. But it was like every day now, it was like this joy. And I'd hear her praying, or like she'd just say, like, she'd just be going around the house doing something, or writing a Bible verse. She'd have the Bible now, or she'd be looking at it on her phone. And it's just like, I was looking at, there's something in this. And that was probably a few months after that prayer I made, not even knowing that it was a prayer or what it was, but just that reaching out is like something from that movement. It was like, even though it wasn't answered straight away, like I didn't see what would be happening the next day, like I didn't see results. It was like my heart had a new strength in that season, to the point where when I did see change, it was like, wait, like I prayed that and now things are happening. There was a time when the church had been introduced to a live church. The pastor and his family, they came around to our house, and we never had visitors. At this time I was still, even though I saw what was happening in my mum and like what was beginning to happen in me, I didn't really like know what it was. So then these they came to our house, and I was still very shy. Like I didn't talk. I was still very anxious, because I've just been introduced to this. I had no clue what was going on. But they prayed for us, me and my two siblings, because my mum and dad started to like invest in this. There was like seeing it, especially my mum, and then my dad came a bit after. He started to see that it was helping our family, and like this darkness that we just thought we'd live with and that we have been living with, like it was starting to become lighter in the house. So now they wanted us to share that. So, and we was all struggling with our own darkness as well, and like that just like struggle. So they came and prayed for us, and it was definitely a turning point, because they prayed for us to receive and to know Jesus. Like they opened us up. They wanted us to know who Jesus was, so they prayed for us. And then after following that, me and my mum at the time, because it was quite late in the evening, and obviously coming from Nottingham to another city, Derby, so we just come to some Thursday prayer meetings that the church would have, and I didn't even know what they were praying. I didn't know what was going on, but like just coming there, it was like I knew it wasn't useless, and like I saw what I was doing with my mum, and even though I didn't know fully what was going on, it's like I wouldn't even like go out with my friends at that time, but I was going at 6-7 in the evening when it was dark at winter to a building where the church was gathering, and it would just be like I felt like this safe feeling there, like this is where I belong, even though I'm not doing the same thing that they're doing because I don't understand it yet. I know that this is the place for me to be. And then it'll be we started to come to Sunday services, and was renting out a room at college at the time, and then it was my whole family who started to come. And I remember there was this one Sunday service, and was worshipping, and I was still very like reserved. I was like very shy, so I'd pray a bit quiet and all this stuff. But then I saw the pastor, and it was just the presence was like in that worship so strong. Like everyone, even if you weren't a believer or you didn't know what was going on, if you walked in that room, you'd stop. Like it was just such a like heavy atmosphere because the presence of God was there. And I just remember seeing the pastor and this like very tall like built figure on the floor on his knees crying his eyes out. And I remember looking at it and I was like, this is like insane. I've never seen this before, because it was only one of the first few meetings I've been to on a Sunday, and I was like, this is like, and there's other men doing the same thing. Women are crying here. Like there's something in it, because you wouldn't just see, you go to sports games and you see people giving it up their all. But it's like we're just in a room in a college, and people are like bawling their eyes out and like shouting, like praising God. And I knew like there's something in this, like people are not going to get on their knees for something that's not working, or they're like that they're just doing it for show, like they weren't doing it for show. And I saw it and I was like, I want to like go full in now. Like I want to pray, like learn how to pray. I want to learn how to worship, because I know that was going to help me, because it already has. It's like it's brought me out of this depression already, and it's like I just want to know more. Like I can see it in them. I want it in me now. So I just kept coming from then, and like come in, prayed, even if like I wasn't that confident to pray very loud. I'd just come and like pray how I would, but gradually I was just more comfortable in that place. And it'd be like, now I'm feeling it, now I'm crying in the presence of something, or I'm crying in worship, and it's like this joy, because coming from that place where it's like that pit, like there's that deepness, and like feeling sick every day, day in and day out, and now it's like when you experience the worst spectrum, you know what it is to go from as you gradually go into the best, like the joy, when you feel that deep sorrow, and then come into like this joy that you never felt. It's, it's real when you feel it. So I was coming to the church, and like they would just like spend so much time with us as well and talk to us. And like we never, a family before, we weren't close, but now it's like these people that I've known for a couple of months, it's like they're becoming family. Like they're my aunties and uncles now, or like I've got like mums and dads in the church now. It's like I didn't have that before, and this joy that I had in my life. And it's like I just slowly transitioned out of this. And I look back and I'd be like, wow, I was so depressed before. And it's like this thing where my mind's running like just constantly. It's like these thoughts, I wouldn't get them so often now. And then it came to a point where I wasn't getting them anymore. And I was like, I just saw like when you go through it, I don't think I realised it fully. And then looking back, it was like, now I'm joyful now, I can be happy. Before I was at a place where I could be in the living room with my family laughing at something, or they're watching something, and I couldn't smile physically. And now like I can't stop smiling, I can't stop laughing when I'm with these people or in the presence, and this just overwhelming joy. So I started to come every week. And then as I started to worship, as I started to sing the name of Jesus and worship to Jesus, this joy came in me as well when we're like singing songs or something, and it's just like I was experiencing it for the first time, and something I never thought would help. Like I never thought about Christianity before, and now coming to this church is completely changed me. Like my heart was flipped 180, and now I can feel this like joy. And before, like happiness probably wasn't even one of my emotions that I felt. Like it just became so foreign to me, and now it's in my life, day in, day out. I'd go home, this joy would come with me, and then I'd go to school and it'd come with me. And that like insecurity I had before, where I needed to be surrounded by people who I saw better than me, it's like I just had this joy constantly, and that dread just went away. Like that depression, this thing that I've never thought I'd be able to get rid of, it was gone, like completely. Because this change was started to happen. It was around 2020, so it was still in the midst of lockdown, but was coming out of it now. So returning to school after going to these meetings and receiving Jesus, and this change going on where this depression like just went. And then going back to school, I just went, and like I wasn't this like dread that I had going back to school where I couldn't go for weeks on end. I was okay going back now, and then I went back and I wasn't with those same friends that like I relied on. I had from going from like 10, 20 friend group, I went and I had a much smaller circle of just genuine people, and I was like so much happier. Like going into lessons, I wouldn't be like on the verge of crying or something. I would just be so content, and I had this confidence with the new friend group. Like I wasn't trying to impress people, and it was even one scenario where this guy came up to me and he was like, and this was around year 10, he was like, oh, so you used to be like really popular, what happened? Because he noticed that I wasn't wearing as much makeup or whatever. I didn't look the same as them anymore. I like hardly hung around them in school. And he was like, you was popular, what happened? And I was just like, oh, you noticed that I look different now. Like they noticed it, and they was like, they couldn't draw the dots, like what happened. And like, so even from people noticing, like she's coming away from these groups, and like she looked like this person, but she's like, they saw that there was this new confidence in me, like this contentness. Like I only had 2-3 friends now, but I looked happier than when I was with the most popular people in school. The people that search for affirmation from. When you're like approved by these people, it's like, wow, like I'm really high up in the year or whatever. And like they noticed that. And then coming, like I had the strength to do well in my subjects. Before I just wouldn't, my priority in a lesson or in school, it would be to like make the most people laugh or, you know, have the most fun in a lesson. And now I wanted to take it seriously. Like I enjoyed pushing myself to work and things like that with my friends, and my grades completely changed. I would be like just like on the verge of failing. Like I just wasn't, no one noticed me as like an A-star pupil or anything like that. I wasn't smart. But now teachers like come back to me and was like, wow, this work is so like amazing, and like they noticed it in me. They noticed that I was paying attention. Like I just, like every area of my school life, like my social life, I was just so happy. And like when teachers were coming back to me, and I was like so proud that I'm like, okay, I'm doing better now. And coming back, and I knew it was from receiving Jesus. Like this, I was a completely different person before. And the fact my teachers are noticing it, like they're coming back to me like, I want to put this on my wall, like this essay you wrote or something about Macbeth or random, they want to put it on their wall. And like before, I was literally like, I hated doing work. Like I couldn't push myself because I was so worried about myself. I was so worried about what other people thought of me. Like school was at like bottom of the list. Like it wasn't. But now I enjoyed taking it serious. I enjoyed doing well. Like before, it wasn't just trying to survive day in, day out. Now I was like, I want to make the most of everything I'm doing. I want to do well. Like by the time I leave school, I want to look back and have done something. And I was doing so much better in my grades, and like had this new strength to do my work, not leave it, and like miss loads of homeworks, miss assignments, not try. And that helped me to get into college. And it was like, before it was such a terrifying concept, like going to college, I was so scared. And it was like, I have no clue how it's going to be. Like, what if it's so hard? But now it's like, I want to go there, I want to do this. So I went to college, and I still carried on just like improving and improving after receiving Jesus, and like just my life completely changed. And then going to college, it was like, well, now I want to go to uni. So I applied to unis. Me applying to uni, getting in like this, I would have never done this before. Like I would have, before it would always be like the easiest, less scariest option. Whatever that was, I would just go for that. Even if it was like completely opposite to me, I would go for that because then I can survive that. It's all right. Like I can do that, maybe do that in my own strength. But now it's like this new strength I wanted to do something that I knew I wouldn't do before. Like I just wanted to do something completely new. And then getting into this and getting offered roles like ambassador roles and things like that from my application, like they would say, this was really well, like can you come and do this? Like that's not in my own strength, that I won't be able to do that. Like I'm not just a naturally smart person or a naturally like talented person. But now this is through confidence. I was never, from a little girl, from as young as I can remember, this timid girl, and like not even just shyness, it was like a terror, like to talk to people or just put myself out there, be a centre of attention. And now I can do it with joy. I can go out there, I can go to uni, and I can try in my course, and even when we're doing a scary thing, I'm like, oh, it's exciting, I'll learn something new. Like something's gonna come out of it. So I take joy in doing it now, but before, like, it wasn't even a possibility of me doing it. To me, not just doing it and enjoying it and doing well in it, like that's only Jesus has done that in me. Like in secondary school, if it weren't for me meeting Jesus, I probably would have failed all my GCSEs, probably be looking at whatever college accepted me, or probably not even gone to college. A lot of the friends I had before, I'd gone down the same path. I'd probably be drinking and going into much darker stuff than what I was already in. But Jesus just completely changed that direction of my life, and he just took me into this place of joy and that strength where I could do what I was meant to do. And like whatever purpose, even if I don't know it all yet, I know that I've got one. So whatever I'm going to do it fully. I'm going to give my heart to it because Jesus has given me that strength. And just to be able to do that now, that is only the work of Jesus. So for anyone out there, like in secondary school, in the same situation I was, like if you'd have looked at me before, like this depression, like you wouldn't have seen it, but I know a lot of my friends, I know they was going through the same thing, like this insecurity, especially for females. Like I was such an insecure person, but that place isn't permanent. Like you can come out of it. This isn't just for me that I've received. It's not just for me to come out of. It's for everyone. This is the solution for everyone, no matter what age, no matter what year you're in, or what you're struggling with, if it's anxiety, depression. There's something for everyone. Like Jesus can take you out of anything. There's nothing impossible for him. And just coming, like when you go in school, there's just such that darkness that you feel every day. Like you're afraid to talk to people because of what people think of you. Like the groups, there's those groups, and like there's no place where you belong when you go to school, especially for my age group. Like at the time, like it's just to put yourself out there, even to say that I'm struggling with this, it wasn't even a thing. And now when we do that, like if you say I'm struggling with this, it's celebrated. There's no solution for it anymore. But Jesus is that solution. He pulled me from that depression. I never thought when I was in that there wasn't a possibility for me to come out, but Jesus pulled me from that. It wasn't me. I didn't try a new medication. I didn't try a new, meditation or something. It wasn't the things that schools advertising at. I didn't take a leaflet and try something. It was Jesus who pulled me from this. Jesus is the one who changed my heart. He took that depression, but he didn't just take it. He filled me with joy. That's what change has happened. But it's not, this change isn't just made for me or made for a special group of people. It's made for everyone. Everyone who wants it. If you not open that door, if you ask him, if you just pray to him, when you feel that like such low place, he will answer you. Even if it's not that minute, he will answer you, and you'll see the fruit of that. You'll see that answer come. That depression is not a permanent thing. It can leave you, and it left me. But it's Jesus who does that work. And Jesus, he wants everyone. He wants everyone. He wants no matter what age you are in secondary school, no matter if you're year 7 to 11 or whatever age, he wants you. And he will pull you from wherever you are. If you're struggling with anxiety, depression or eating disorders that I was struggling with, he pulls you from that. And he gives you the strength, and you don't have to think, what if I can't do it? It's not your strength. He'll just pull you out of that, and he'll give you a new strength, he'll give you a new life, a new name. He'll call you out of that darkness, and he's got a purpose for you. We're not meant just to live in this world and in this darkness and be terrified of everything. He wants us to walk out. He wants us to live with joy. This life isn't meant to live with depression. It's not meant to live in anxiety and fear. It's meant to be lived with joy. And he wants that for you. He wants that for everyone. But you have to reach out, and he wants you. Jesus wants everyone out there. Just reach out to him, pray to him, and he'll answer you. He'll pull you from whatever misery, whatever darkness that you're in, no matter how deep you're into it. Like, he wants you. There's nothing impossible that he can take you out from.